Yesterday, members of Congress applauded the actions taken by police.
Join the majority leader in expressing our gratitude to the Capitol Police.
But the question remains, did police take a step too far in using deadly force against an unarmed woman who had her one-year-old child in the car? Well, to discuss this more, I was joined earlier by Todd Jasper, the Associate Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management at MSA Inc. And I asked him if law enforcement are trained to react differently given the locations of yesterday's car chase, and if that's ultimately what resulted in the use of lethal force.
It's a great question. So, unlike normal law enforcement, which is, writing tickets, pulling people over, making arrests, that kind of thing, law enforcement that around secure areas like the White House, the Capitol, is focused primarily on access control, right? They want to keep the people in that are supposed to be there. They want to keep the people out that are not supposed to be there. So law enforcement throughout the United States definitely have a very high standard for using deadly force, and we saw that yesterday. She hit several police officers before they actually ended up using their weapons. So it's a different type of law enforcement, but the same standard is there for lethal force, and it's very high.
How much does the fact that she was in a car make this threat, I guess, more real to the police here? I mean, a lot of members of Congress were interviewed, and they said that when they heard gunshots, they thought it might be something like terrorism or something like that. Is the fact that they're in a car of police told to react that there might be a bomb in the car or something, and then at all costs it must be neutralized?
Well, so there's a few things there. First, the weapon itself, the car is a weapon itself. Second, she was going to multiple high-value areas, right? Multiple highly secure areas, not just the White House, but also the Capitol. And so clearly they needed to stop that threat from continuing. Now, she was pretty much a weapon in herself because she kept on trying to get through security and trying to use that weapon against the police.
Well, I mean, looking back, we can see the threats that police believed were out there, but at the end of the day, we have, a 34-year-old mother who was suffering from mental illness, who was shot dead in front of her one-year-old child.
Right.
And a lot of people can say this was brought on by herself. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. She turned into security checkpoints and had some sort of breakdown or anything like that. There was a point in the chase, and there's been video of it, in which the car was stopped in front of the Capitol.
Right.
And there's been some criticism leveled at the way police handled that they should have been a better job blocking the car in there, or once they had the car stopped, to shoot out the tires. Are those legitimate criticisms at the moment?
Not really. Those are what you see people shooting out tires in the movies. In real life, pointing your gun and shooting it out a tire, there's a lot of collateral damage that could happen from that. Really, you're only authorized to use a weapon like a gun if you're deadly force authorized. So if you're not, you shouldn't use it. So shooting out a tire can lead to ricochets and other people being hurt or killed.
Are police not really trained to really shoot out tires?
Correct.
Okay.
That's not common at all.
There was a one-year-old in the car, and police say that they weren't aware of the one-year-old in the car until after this was resolved and after they had shot the suspect. Given the bullets that were exchanged in front of the Capitol and then down the road by the Senate office buildings, it's a miracle that the baby wasn't injured. Had the child been injured in this shootout, tragically she'd been injured, would that have led to a change of procedure here? And would we still see Capitol Police or Capitol members of Congress on Capitol Hill applauding the police's actions today?
Well, so what we do know is that I think to the credit of the officers, they didn't shoot randomly or just haphazardly. They were very, very discriminating about it. They only targeted the driver and ensured that no one else was hurt, and that's the case. So the child wasn't hurt. If the child was hurt, I think it would leave for more questions, but in this case, it's very clear. The child wasn't hurt. The police acted very courageously.
After September 11th, the September 11th Commission promised a lot more interagency communication. Yet yesterday we had an instance in which there was a high-speed chase coming from the White House down Pennsylvania to the Capitol. And we know that the barricades that protect the Capitol and protect the Senate office buildings in that whole area weren't deployed until even after the shootout in front of the Capitol, including the police car that was broken down in Constitution Avenue, was wrecked because it ran over one of those barricades as it was raising up. Did police respond the way they should have? Was the communication, interagency communication, in place the way we've been told it should be in place since 9/11?
I think it's surprising, but the answer is yes. From my experience and from my knowledge of the situation, they were very tactical and strategic when they just deployed those bollards. And so the idea was not to keep the person out at that point because the chase was coming so quickly to the Capitol, but it was to keep that contained and to keep the car from being able to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
So it was done with a purpose.
Certainly a sad story with still a lot of questions to be answered about what drove this woman to do this. Unfortunately, we might not ever know those answers. Todd Jasper, Associate Director, Homeland Security Emergency Management at MSA Inc. Thank you.